Buzzed Pucks.
Buzzed
Pucks.
That worked better than I thought it was going to.
It worked
Look
pretty
at
well.
that.
Right, guys? Right. Welcome to Buzz Pucks. I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
And we're here to talk about, oh God, what week is it? Week 18 of the NHL season.
February 6th through the 12th.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
We should maybe start saying that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the ins and outs. We're going to start with the trade, but before we get into anything, what are we drinking, Clay?
We are drinking Cigar City Brewing. We've had it before. They're from Tampa Bay.
Did we drink Florida Man last year?
No, we did
I'm
not.
wondering. No?
We did not.
Okay.
We're drinking Florida Man.
Yeah, I took your thunder there.
Bert picked it up strictly because of the name.
Hell yeah.
It's a double IPA.
And I like Cigar City.
Yeah. The can art's really good because it's a trailer park on fire. Or not trailer park. It's a trailer on fire. Like
And
a double
a gator.
life. And a gator eating a beer.
Yeah.
Says, welcome to Florida.
Yeah, Cigar City is in Tampa Bay, so they would know.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah. My
Uh-huh.
bad. My bad. Sorry, I don't listen when you talk.
You shouldn't. I don't either.
Oh.
There's just
and,
nothing going on in here. Words.
Just real quick before anything, I want to give a shout out to the good people of East Palestine, Ohio. I hope you're safe. I'm really sorry for what's going on over there right now.
If anyone doesn't know, it's America's Chernobyl.
It's there was a train derailment, and then they decided a train derailment with like highly volatile chemicals, and then they were like, you know what, let's just set it on fire to take care of this.
No, the train was on fire.
Yeah, but then they set it more on fire.
Oh, great.
So maybe that was the least of the evils to be picked. I don't know, but it's a huge ecological disaster. And if you have the means, get out of there. And that's not so far from Pittsburgh either. So that's kind of in my homeland. So
It's like nothing good with
No.
Ohio.
there's nothing good happening with that situation right
Nope.
now. So I don't know if we have any listeners in that area, but I hope you're safe. And we can't do anything to help. We're just two idiots that talk about hockey, but know that we're thinking about you.
Yes.
So, like I said, we're going to start with a trade just because two of the men in the trade both scored immediately for the teams they got traded to. And it's a pretty big trade, too.
Yes.
Vladimir Tarasenko and Niko Mikkola were traded from St. Louis to the New York Rangers. Both New York teams making big swings the last couple of weeks.
I hate this division.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait to see what desperation moves Pittsburgh and Washington do, if anything.
And Devils at this point.
And Devils, and Carolina's probably going to do something too. And you know what? Can't wait to see what Philly does.
They go out swinging.
Tarasenko was 50% retained. He's only signed through the end of this year.
Right, so?
I'm not sure what Mikkola's contract was. He might be a UFA at the end of the year too. Mikkola, if you don't know, is a defenseman. Tarasenko is a forward. And in return, St. Louis got Sammy Bly back.
They got him back.
They got him back. They got their boy back. Hunter Skinner, who is a prospect defenseman.
What a name.
Yeah, right?
It's like an animal's nightmare.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it kind of is. A conditional first-round pick. I'll go over the conditions in just a second. And a conditional, that first-round pick is this year in 2023. And a conditional fourth-round pick in 2024. The first rounder is the later of the two first rounds that the Rangers have. They also have Dallas's first-round pick, so whoever picks later, obviously, that's the one that goes to St. Louis. And then the fourth turns into a third if the Rangers make the playoffs. So it's going to be a third. The Rangers are pretty solidly in the playoffs.
This is not a bad return.
I don't think so.
Well, it's not a bad trade for a rental.
Yeah.
That had a full no move clause.
True. That's true. Yeah.
He had to waive.
I'm starting to wonder if Russian players would like to play for the Rangers, just because I know, first of all, I know why Panarin wanted to go there was because there's a very large Russian community in New York, but now I'm wondering if those players just want to go and play with Panarin.
Well, Tarasenko and Panarin are really good friends.
Well, yeah.
So, just
that was probably part of it. This, I would assume, effectively takes the Rangers out of any dealings for Patrick Kane.
Yep.
It seems like not just the Rangers, but any other team that might have been interested in Kane is really worried about his hip.
They're either worried about his hip or whoever's putting that out is trying to sabotage the trade.
It could be, but that certainly worked with the Rangers at this point. And I know Chicago's asking for a lot for him too, but I have seen a couple of reports that he's not playing very well this year, and I think a lot of teams think it's because of the hip, and they think he probably needs surgery that he's just not getting.
Right.
And it actually wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't get traded from Chicago by the trade deadline. Then he immediately has that surgery, so that would be pretty funny. But yeah, there wasn't. Oh, we're officially on Jake Chychrun watch.
Yep.
Because he has been scratched. He's on my team.
Yep, I realized that, and then I shut up.
He
might be going to one of my teams.
That's true, maybe. He was scratched from their last game and is scratched for the game tonight, which is Monday. And the team has said it is for trade reasons. Mm-hmm. So they must be getting close to trading him.
They don't want him to get hurt.
And they don't want him to get hurt. So, yeah. So that's the first time in a while or ever that I've seen a team be like, yeah, no, we're holding him out of the game because we're going to trade him.
Yeah.
Because other teams have done it before, but
rare.
They're always like, oh, undisclosed or whatever. And they're
it's
like,
a lower body.
You're about to trade him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But without further ado, let's get into a kind of weird week.
Players have been traded like mid-game.
Oh, yeah. That was
Duchesne.
Was it Duchesne?
Duchesne got traded mid-game.
Did he? Oh, Mike Camilleri, I believe, did too.
Someone got hurt. Duchesne helped him off the ice, and Duchesne also never came back.
Oh, what a slick move. They were like, hey, just stay back there.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was for Colorado or for Ottawa.
I don't remember. Yeah. So let's get into the games in a kind of a weirdly scheduled week.
She's in your bedroom.
Oh, okay. Well, I just noticed this. One moment, sorry.
Weird week. Some teams played a lot. Some teams played a little.
Yeah, I specifically have, I think, at least 3 teams that only played 1 game, and then a bunch of teams that played 4 games.
Right.
So, I don't know what was up with the schedule this week. But
it's because you have a handful of teams at 53 games played, and then you have a handful of teams at only 50 games played, and they're trying to.
And even some teams that have played more than that.
Right.
I think the Islanders specifically have played 55, 56 games.
That's crazy.
And then the Penguins
we're at 50.
We're at 50. Yeah. So the schedule gets jumbled up sometimes, but it all equates out to 82 in the end. So let's start with the Carolina Hurricanes in the entire Metro Division, and they only played 1 game this week.
Mm-hmm.
They lost 6-2 to the New York Rangers, where Carolina outshot the Rangers 29-19.
Dang.
The Rangers had 19 shots.
Yeah, but
and they scored 6 goals.
Yeah, the first one went in.
Was this the one that Tarasenko scored? No. This was.
You're talking Carolina, not the Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a pretty bad game for Carolina overall. Yeah. That was their only game of the week, and they don't get a top player.
Nope.
Moving on to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who only played 2 games this week. Getting shut out by Toronto, where they were outshot 41-30. Jonas Korpisalo had a fairly okay game.
He actually had a good game.
Yeah, he was 38 for 41, so he was the only reason that they didn't lose harder. Yeah. And then, hey, they turned around and beat Toronto in a weird, I think, home-and-home
It was
series.
a home-and-home series.
And so they enacted some revenge on Toronto, where they outshot Toronto 40-29. Boone Jenner, Marchenko, and I forget what Marchenko's first name is, and Kent Johnson all had a goal and an assist in that game. Are you looking it up?
No, I am looking up something else about that game specifically.
Oh, okay. Also, we might go silent for a second because we are on Chychrun watch. We would like to break it like Clay broke the Bo Horvat trade out of nowhere a couple weeks ago.
Out of pure luck.
Yeah. I mean, we were an hour late to the actual trade happening, but, whatever. Columbus does not get a top player this week. New Jersey, 2-0-1 this week. They beat Vancouver in overtime to begin the week. They did blow a 4-1 lead in this game, so they're lucky they still won.
Yeah.
Jack Hughes, 2 goals and an assist. Andre Palat, 2 goals. And Jesper Bratt had the overtime game winner. They then beat Seattle 3-1, where Dougie Hamilton had 2 goals. Andre Palat had 2 assists. And then they lost to Minnesota in a shootout, where Thomas Tatar scored both goals for them. The final score was 3-2. Yeah. Dougie Hamilton is their top player this week with 2 goals and 4 assists. The Islanders are up next. They played 4 games this week. They went 2-1-1 this week. They were 4 for 9 on the power play this week too.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
They beat Philadelphia 2-1 to begin the week. Varlamov 25 of 26. They then shut out Seattle 4-0, where Sorokin made 32 saves for the shutout. JG Pajot had 2 assists. They then lost to Vancouver.
They lost to
6-5.
It was the Battle of the Bows.
The Battle of the Bows.
Bo Horvat and Martin Beauvillier.
Yep. Bo Horvat scored against his former team.
But so did Beauvillier.
But so did Beauvillier, and Beauvillier was the game winner.
Yep.
So
who got the better bow?
Really interesting that everybody was like, oh, Bo Horvat scored against his old team. Bo Horvat scored against his old team. They still lost. And Beauvillier was the one who scored the game winner. So, I didn't see anybody mention that.
No,
anywhere.
It was buried.
Or I saw it, I think, on Reddit once. But I was like, really? Oh,
it was really hidden down there. Yeah.
This didn't fit in with the overall narrative of this trade, huh? Interesting. But the Islanders did blow a 4-2 lead in this game. Barzal had a goal and 2 assists. Horvat, as I mentioned, had a goal and an assist. And Noah Dobson had a goal and an assist. And then the Islanders finished off the week by losing to Montreal in overtime, 4-3. Brock Nelson, goal and an assist. Noah Dobson, 2 assists.
It's really funny because the Islanders are such a good defensive team. They went out and got a scorer in Horvat, who has scored in every game he's played.
Has he? Oh, yeah, he scored against Montreal, too, yeah.
Yeah, he's on a 3-game scoring streak. But now their defense is letting them down.
Weird. Interesting.
Yeah,
Was Bo Horvat the problem in Vancouver? No. But it'll be fun for us to say that over and over again.
Yep.
Nelson and Barzal are their 2 top players of the week, each having 2 goals and 3 assists. The Rangers went 4-0 this week.
The Rangers are so hot right now.
I think since January 1st, I think I just saw this earlier, the Rangers are 12-2. They're really been on fire.
Really hot right
in
now.
the new calendar year. They beat Calgary 5-4 in overtime, where Philip Hedl had 2 goals, Mika Zibanejad had 2 goals and an assist, and Artemi Panarin had 2 assists. They then beat Vancouver 4-3, where Keandre Miller had 3 assists, and Jake Trouba had 2 assists. They then beat Seattle 6-3, where they were 2 for 3 on the power play. Trocheck, Kreider, Kakko, and Lindgren all had 2 points in this game. And then they finish off the week, as I mentioned, beating Carolina 6-2, where Panarin had 4 goals and an assist.
Yes.
And Vinny Trocheck and Jimmy Vesey each had 2 assists.
And Panarin was not the only 4-goal player that night.
Was he not?
No.
Oh.
You know about the other one.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Was it an LA team?
Yeah.
Was it against Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of looked over that game.
That's fair.
I just wrote barf for Pittsburgh on that game. Artemi Panarin is their top player of the week, obviously, with 4 goals and 5 assists. Now, which was it against Seattle? That was
it was either Seattle
first game?
or Vancouver.
I can't remember. I want to say it was Seattle, but Tarasenko scored immediately for the Rangers. He scored the first goal of the game a minute into the game. So
set up by
from Panarin, yeah. So that's
gross.
That's pretty annoying. Philadelphia went 1-2-1 this week, where they lost to the Islanders 2-1. Carter Hart played okay, 28-30. They beat Edmonton in a shootout 2-1. Where Carter Hart again was 34 of 35, and Morgan Frost and JVR had these shootout goals. And then they lost to Nashville 2-1 in overtime. Carter Hart again, 23 of 25, was the only person trying in those first 3 games. And then they lost to Seattle 4-3, breaking I really wanted this game to end 2-1 as well. So it was just all 2-1.
Well, this one,
This one was weird. Because,
Philadelphia almost battled back.
Yeah. This one is weird. There's not a big shot disparity, but Seattle outshot Philly 21-18.
Right.
That's very few shots. 7 goals on a combined 39 shots. That's a lot.
I watched a lot of this, a good chunk of this game,
yeah.
and it was like
Was it bad goaltending or what?
not necessarily bad goaltending. It was just very few shooting chances, but the chances that were there were high danger.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like a playoff game essentially.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Philadelphia's forecheck was relentless. Like a lot of the times, like Seattle couldn't get out of the zone.
Owen Tippett had a goal and an assist in this game, and hey, Rasmus Ristolainen, who's been playing pretty dang good the last few weeks. We clown on him all the time. He had 2 assists in this game.
Good.
Carter Hart is obviously their top player. He went 1-1-1. He did his absolute best.
He tried.
He let in. God Christ, he only let in 4 goals in 3 games.
That's crazy.
Because he did not play against Seattle. 1-1-1 with a 163 goals against and a 944 save percentage.
Very good.
This poor boy. And he's just not scoring goals in front of him. He's like Jake DeGrom, right? The one for the Mets. He would pitch like 8 innings of scoreless, and then would let up 1 run, and then they would lose 1-0.
Or prime Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, Felix Hernandez is another one. Pittsburgh. Oh, I didn't write down what their overall record was, but it was 2-1. They were 2-1 this week. They beat Colorado in overtime 2-1. This was a really interesting game because Colorado controlled the majority of this game, except for like the last 7 minutes,
and that's all it took.
And overtime, and that's all it took because Colorado was badly out shooting Pittsburgh, like by a lot through the first 2 periods. I didn't write it down, but they were out shooting them by more than double. And then in the 3rd period, Pittsburgh just was like, "Oh yeah,
we know how to.
We should play." Yeah. Evgeny Malkin he did not have 2 goals in that game. He had a goal. He might have had 2. He had 2 assists. Chris Letang had the overtime game winner.
Good. And
Casey DeSmith was 41 of 42. Classic Casey DeSmith, where he has one really good game and then a really terrible game. Well, not a really terrible game against Anaheim, but he's pretty like up down. Anyway, next game against Anaheim, Pittsburgh won 6-3, where they pretty much dominated this game.
Yep.
They outshot Anaheim 59-31. That is stark contrast to the Seattle Philadelphia game where there was 39 shots
total.
There was 90 shots in this game. It's crazy.
And Gibson tried his very best.
Gibson tried his best. But hey, you know who was better? P.O. Joseph, who had 2 goals and an assist in this game. Mm-hmm. Good on the young defenseman. Rust and Kapanen each had a goal and an assist. Kapanen's goal was really weird and stupid. Oh, yeah. He was trying to pass, I think, to Carter, but it deflected off of somebody and just fluttered right past. Deflected off defenseman and just fluttered past. And Evgeny Malkin had 2 assists, and with those 2 assists, Geno Malkin has 1,200 points.
Wow.
In his NHL career.
Wow.
Man, this beer is making me burp. And then Pittsburgh lost to LA 6-0. Malkin is their top player with 4 assists. Yeah, that I don't.
Don't worry, I'll talk about that.
Okay, you could talk about that game. These are West Coast games, and I had to work the next day, so there was no way I was going to stay up for these games. Let's move on to Washington, who only played 2 games this week, beating Boston 2-1.
Yeah,
hell of a victory
at Boston.
Yeah, that's only Boston's second loss.
Second
at home. Darcy Kemper, 27-28.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. And then they lost to San Jose 4-1.
I hate hockey.
Any given night.
Well, it's also a back-to-back. Like
yeah. That's tough.
They played these games.
I'm sure, a very emotional game against Boston where they really fought the best team in the league, really beat them, and then they lost to one of the worst teams in the league. The dichotomy of hockey.
They played Saturday and Sunday.
Mm. They did not play at all. The
or Friday, Saturday. Either
Yeah,
way.
but they were off for at least
The
4
entire
days
week,
before
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And they beat Boston.
And everybody was like, hell yeah, let's go. We're going to solidify a playoff spot. And then they lost to San Jose.
Oh, man.
Darcy Kemper's their top player. He only played that one game, but he only lit up the one goal and had a .964 save percentage.
Ah.
Yeah, no, I understand. Look, Pittsburgh looked great against Colorado, looked great against Anaheim, and they got shut out by LA. Yeah. Let's talk about some news. We already talked about the trade. Philadelphia is making weird pleas to their season
fans?
ticket holders. Tortorella wrote a letter to the season ticket holders that was like, I know we're doing bad, but I'm encouraged by like the young guys on the team, and we're going in the right direction. Which is like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they made him do that. That doesn't seem like a Tortorella thing to do. And they also said if they would renew for next year, they would refund the entire month of April and put it towards credit for next year for the season ticket holders. Which makes me think that they're really worried that some of their season ticket holders are not going to renew for next year.
Well, I mean, think about Philly. Like, they just lost 3 championships in 3 months.
The first city ever
To lose
3 major sports championships in
a 3-month span.
Yeah, in a 3-month span.
Because they lost.
No, it was more than 3 months.
No, it did. I think it was 3 months.
Oh, whatever. They lost the World Series, lost the MLS Cup,
And then lost
the Super Bowl. Fly, Eagles, fly. So, yeah, I guess they must be worried.
But what I do respect about Philly, it's because they,
They still love their teams.
Well, there's that, and then also because the city went to the trouble to grease the poles.
They still rioted.
They still
turned over a car. Yeah. I saw a video of them before the game even started turning over a car and then jumping on it and like celebrating like
saw that too,
weird cavemen.
Yep.
So hey, shout out Philly. That's a bummer. Part of me just wishes the Flyers went on some crazy run, made the playoffs, made it to the Stanley Cup, and lost.
Oh, man.
Just so that it just turned that knife even further. Yep. But I'll take not even making the playoffs too.
There's that, and might as well just do NBA while we're at it too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go all 5.
Yeah. Lose all 5 championships. Oh man, I have a friend. I don't even know if my friend listens to this podcast. That's a Philly fan a fan of all Philly sports.
Yeah.
I didn't text him today because I was like, he's probably so angry. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird that they were doing that. I'm like, all right. Jack Hughes, unfortunately, is week to week with an upper body injury.
That's all that
really puts a damper on the Devils. He is very clearly their best player.
Mm-hmm.
Dougie Hamilton's playing pretty well for them too. Obviously,
the
entire team is playing well.
Not Jack Hughes.
But Jack Hughes is definitely the linchpin now. I think he went out during the second game this week, so they still won the third game.
Right.
But I don't know. The severity week to week could mean literally anything.
Yes.
Because I've seen players be like, "Oh, he's week to week," and then 2 weeks later he's on the LTIR.
Yep.
So that might expedite a trade, though, if they're a little worried about their scoring.
Yeah.
Not defense. Jack Hughes plays center.
I'm thinking of his brother, Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn plays, and his other brother Luke, who is also on the Devils, but I don't think he's on the Devils.
No,
he's in the organization.
Luke is still.
I think he's in juniors.
If
actually,
not college.
Yeah, college, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's it. That is it for the Metro. What you got going on?
All right, I got the Pacific, and this week we are going worst to first. 0 to hero.
You don't want to go to east to west?
Not this time. We're going Hercules to Honcules.
What? Honcules? Hunculus? But Hercules is like the best one.
I know. Watch the Disney movie from 1995.
I've only seen it a couple of times. I don't remember it. We do have one friend that is her favorite Disney movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
James Wood is the devil. That was oddly...
Nailed
it. Yeah, nailed it.
All right. Worst to first. We're still alphabetical at the start because it's Anaheim.
Yeah.
All right. They went 1-2-1 this week.
Yep.
They are 17-31-6.
Hey man, they're gonna
On the
break 20. They're
season?
gonna break 20 wins.
That's good for 40 points. And yeah, they're in 8th.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
They started the week by going to Dallas and losing in a shootout.
Dude, John Klingberg's got to be so fucking mad that he signed with Anaheim.
He got $7 million, so he can't be that mad.
I know, but he is not getting a good contract after
No,
this
he's
year.
not. Well, remember, he did fire his agent.
As he should have.
Yeah, he fired his agent
Well, because
before the season started.
he's not playing good. He's
No.
not playing well for Anaheim either. So it's not like he did score against Pittsburgh. I know that.
Gibson is their best player in that Dallas game because he saved 39 of 41 shots because they were, while the shooting was the same, they only won 20 out of 58 faceoffs.
Christ.
Yeah.
I wrote down somebody's face-off numbers too that were just like atrocious for one of the games they played.
It might have been Dallas, Anaheim.
Oh, maybe it was actually. It
'Cause
might have been.
This is weird. Then they went to Chicago and beat them in overtime. Stolarz was in net there. Jason Magna
Yeah.
scored a goal and an assist.
Oh, that's the forward.
Yes.
Yes.
His
Okay.
brother was the one who got
it was
traded.
Jacob Magna. Okay.
And before I looked up that they were actually brothers, I knew they were brothers because of the stupid way they spelled their names.
Oh, is there a weird Y in Jason too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, looking into it, their father's name is Jay. J-A-Y. Yep.
God.
So it's Jason, Jayson, and Jacob, Jayob.
I would never name a child after myself. I think it's kind of weird. You
They're
know?
our age, by the way. Both of them.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hadn't heard.
What, 21?
Oh.
10, 11 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Then they did what Bert said and lost
As they should, do what I say.
to Pittsburgh. 1 for 2 on their power play. And then they...
Oh, and that power play goal was actually kind of neat because Zegras just like tipped it out of the air past to Smith. Yeah.
And then went to Vegas and lost 2-7. Vegas blew them out the water. And I watched a lot of this game.
Vegas had a good week this week.
Yes,
didn't
they
they?
did.
Yeah.
I watched this game because it was like Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They had matinee games before the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, they did not want to go up against the Super Bowl. Yeah. That's smart.
I really learned. I hate Vegas's goal horn.
Oh yeah.
It's
What is it?
I don't.
There's some team. Most teams just have like a generic that all kind of sound the same. It's just kind of a foghorn.
I
but,
can't
like,
remember if it's Montreal or Boston that has that whine.
It's Montreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate that one.
Yeah, there's a few teams that have really annoying goal horns.
And this one, Vegas's was kind of a foghorn too, but it's different in a way that I got really sick of real quick. Because they scored 7 goals.
Is there one team that has like a siren as their goal? Maybe I'm thinking of like a European team or a minor league team.
I don't know.
I don't know all the goal
At least
horns.
Columbus has a cannon.
That scares the shit out of everybody
And
when they
I love
fire
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Gibson tried his best, but
Hey, maybe he'll get traded.
here's to hoping for him.
There's like a good chance.
This
I feel
game stayed really close for the first 2 periods. It was 2-1 through the first 2 periods.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
then
not too bad. And then
Vegas
they just blew him out of the water.
Then Vegas
in the
went to
third
overdrive.
period. They're like, oh, this team is terrible.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's stop playing defense.
It's stuff like that makes me think that teams like Vegas that are like pretty good sometimes maybe overthink their strategy against teams like Anaheim that are really bad.
I mean,
and then like they overthink it enough that they kind of it goes into Anaheim's hands because they're overthinking it. And then after a couple of periods, they're like, oh, you know what? Let's just simplify this.
Right.
And then they just beat the shit out of them.
Because like some of these goals were for Vegas were just absolute layups. Like Gibson had no chance.
Anaheim basically doesn't have a defense.
Right.
So Cam Fowler and is the only defenseman worth any salt
Right.
that is still there. I know they have that kid Drysdale.
Who hasn't played all season?
Oh, is he sitting on the bench or
No,
did
he's
he
been
go to the
hurt
minor?
all season.
Oh, he has. Oh,
He got hurt before
that
the
might
season
be part
started.
of the problem too.
Um,
He's supposed to be pretty good, but he's been hurt all year.
I think it's shoulder. Fuck, that was weird.
It was a soldering incident.
Yep.
So I mean, he's supposed to be pretty good, but like you just said, he hasn't played all year. John Klingberg never known for his defense.
Nope.
And they traded Hampus Lindholm last year, so
Yes.
really Cam Fowler's the only one that's there, and he's probably really pissed.
He's no more pissed than Gibson, who's just getting shelled.
Yeah. Gibson, I'm sure, is the most angry about
Who,
it.
because he faced 41 shots, then 29, then
There's got to be a couple teams because there's several teams that are in playoff hunt that need a goalie.
41,
Vegas.
29, 59 was that Pittsburgh game.
Yes.
And then 39 again. So
He's just getting shelled out there.
And again, people are talking about how it's oh man, he makes over $5 million. And it's he's playing in front of traffic cones.
Of no defense. He's still honestly in that Pittsburgh game, that score could have been a lot worse.
12-13 on the penalty kill though.
Hey,
Yeah.
silver lining.
All right.
Silver lining there.
San Jose's up next. Because like Bert said, they're one of the worst teams.
Yeah.
2-1 this week.
Hey, there you go.
17, 26, and 11. 45 points. This was an East Coast trip for them. They went to Tampa Bay and beat them in overtime.
Hey, look at them.
Timo Meier, 2 goals and an assist.
Hey, well, he's just advertising himself at
That's
this point.
100%. Mike Greer, their
And it's-
GM is just sitting
The
there.
Sharks
just
are
going,
probably just yes.
He's
Keep scoring. Keep scoring.
dancing in the booth.
They're probably
hanging up phones.
they're probably telling their players just give it to Timo Meier.
Right.
Let him score. Just lay up to Timo.
They did get outshot in this game, 37-22.
Still won.
Yeah, doesn't
That's all
matter.
that matters. Sometimes those shot totals matter. Sometimes they don't.
Kakkonen was in net there.
Oops. Sorry.
Then they went to They went in between Fort Lauderdale and Miami to Florida, and they lost 4-1.
Excuse me. It's Sunrise.
Sorry, where they let in 2 shorthanded goals.
That's pretty. Wait, what was the score of this game?
4-1.
Oh, okay. For Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
1-4. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
2 shorthanded goals.
Was it on the same power play? Because that's the thing that would just be worse.
I mean, Kakkonen only let in 2 goals.
So they were both the short.
Probably.
Yeah.
I need to look. I didn't look at that more.
Well, that probably means the other 2 were empty net goals.
Yeah.
So this game is probably a little closer than the 4-1 says. But
Yes,
that
it was very
means
much
that
closer.
the 2 that he let in were both shorthanded.
Or
goals.
one of the empty
Or
nets.
one of the empty nets was
was
a shorthanded
technically
goal.
shorthanded. All right, then they beat Washington 4-1, which one of those goals was empty net. Carlson had a goal and an assist, and they actually outshot Washington 33-21.
Yeah,
So they very much kind of outplayed Washington.
they
this
did.
game.
Yeah, Washington was just gassed. I guess in that game.
Eric Carlson is their top player with 2 goals and 5 assists. He is on a massive points
Yeah, he is.
streak.
Do you have in the news for the Pacific, Edmonton, and them talking?
No, I don't.
Okay, well then let's just talk about it really quick because it's about Eric Carlson.
He's not going there.
There's no way, but apparently I saw somebody tweet oh, they're talking again about Eric Carlson. I'm like, oh, okay, so Edmonton just doesn't want to play defense. They just want to try to score 20 goals a game.
They
And
can talk all they want. I'm not talking about it because there's nothing to it.
there's no way that they could do it unless they get another team to be an intermediary where Carlson has 5 years left on his contract.
Don't
You know?
do it.
It's or 6 years or something crazy like that. So whatever intermediary team might take, just say San Jose retains 50%,
Right.
and they have to retain that for 5 or 6 more years, and say there's an intermediary team that retains another 50%. That team has to do that too for 5 to 6 more years. So Edmonton's going to have to pay out the nose for anybody to do that, because this man makes $11.5 million,
Yeah.
and it's just no way. There's just no way that trade can be figured out. It
Right.
would be far too. Now look, it's probably going to happen tomorrow, but now that I say that, now that we're like, this cannot happen. We're going to break it in a couple of minutes probably, but it would just, I don't know what the trade would be. I don't know how it would work. I love the speculation of teams that are like, ooh, Toronto might go after Timo Meier. Yeah, with what cap money? Are they going to trade Sean Tavares over there? That's the only way that's going to work.
Right. So
Because, like, Timo Meier's 26. He's also on the Sharks. So
He's an
like,
RFA.
He's an RFA. He's going to ask for like $10 million because he's probably worth that
deserve
much.
his-
Especially if you put him on a better team, that man's probably going to score 40 goals a year.
he's his career high is 35. He already has 31 goals.
Yeah,
season.
so he's over 40, maybe 50
already
this year.
starting to break out.
And he's on a terrible team. So, like, if I know one of the teams that keeps being very heavily linked to him is the Devils.
Yeah.
So you put him with, like, Jack Hughes, that's going to be dynamite. Presumptively,
Yeah.
that should be dynamite. But, like, they're going to have to re-sign him. You're not going to trade a king's ransom for him and then not re-sign him. I mean, look at the Islanders. They not a king's ransom, but they traded quite a bit for Bo Horvat, and they re-signed him.
Yes.
So, like,
with the re-signing, I think that's a good trade.
me too. Yeah,
All right, we're gonna move on to Vancouver, who is
Nux.
1-2-1 this week. 21, 28, and 4.
Them babies downstairs are Canucks fans.
46
They're
points.
riding right now.
You know, now that like the shine on this turd has been removed, and we see them for what they are. This
And now
team,
it's just a stinky turd.
It's not like we don't have a lot of hopium for this year.
No way. Maybe at the beginning of the year we were like, maybe.
We had hopium and then some copium, and now we just see it who they
No,
are.
Vancouver's bad.
For a neutral fan, I think you should watch Vancouver games.
Yeah,
Yes, because their offense is one of the best in the league.
and their defense is really, really
The
bad.
defense is one of the historically worst teams I've ever seen. But they score goals, and they get goals scored on them. So
So it's entertaining.
it's super.
It's 80s hockey all over again.
Super entertaining.
Yeah.
So 1-2-1, all on the East Coast, mostly New York area.
Oh yeah.
Went to the Devils, 4-5 overtime loss, and like you said, Devils blew a 4-1 lead
They did. Yeah.
to tie that, to send that to overtime. Connor Garland had 2 assists in that game. Then 3-4 loss to the Rangers. Made this close. The Rangers have a really good defense, or the Rangers are confident in their defense.
They have a competent defense.
Yeah, and Vancouver made them look pretty shaky.
Interesting.
But again,
Well, the one thing.
their
I'm sorry, go
their
ahead.
defense
Yeah.
is garbage. Quinn Hughes had 2 assists in that game. One of those games he walked the defense just to send it to Kuzmenko.
He's like, oh, Devils,
Yeah.
trade for me.
And I think Podolzin got his
Oh,
first.
Pudzlolskin.
Yes,
Yeah.
got his first goal of the season.
Yikes.
I
That's
think
pretty
he's-
deep
I
into the year.
think he's been hurt.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair.
He hasn't really been playing. Then the 6-5 win against the Islanders, where they were down 4-2,
They were, yeah.
and they went up 6-4.
Yeah.
So-
they almost let the Islanders.
They
back
almost
in
let
the
the
game,
Islanders come back in the game, and this one was a 2-5 loss.
What was the last one?
Uh,
To who?
To Detroit, 2-5
Detroit,
loss
okay.
against Detroit. So that's still 7 goals in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess if you're new to hockey, watch the Canucks
Why is the Canucks?
because they're not gonna win probably a lot, but
It's
there'll be a lot of
entertaining.
goals in that game.
And a lot of these like young players, like again, Quinn Hughes, Brock Besser not as much, but Elias
might get traded.
Pettersson, like these guys
Yeah.
are like Hughes and Pedersen are stars,
Mm-hmm.
and even JT Miller, like
He's still fine. He's still scoring a lot.
He's
he just
gr-
doesn't play defense
he's
at all.
great offensively,
Yeah.
but he was never really
A
known for his
liability.
defense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and just as a reminder to everybody,
I'm done dunking on them. They're bad defensively.
bad,
but they're one of the best offenses in hockey. So
it's funny. It's really funny. I would just like to remind everybody that Vancouver did come out and say the only untouchable is Elias Pettersson and probably Quinn Hughes.
yeah, they
on that team.
They
So
basically said Quinn Hughes, but like
they're not saying they would be open to it if somebody gives them like way too much.
Yes.
But they pretty much flat out said they are not trading Elias Pettersson.
no, he's not going anywhere. So in the Islander game, Brock Besser had a goal and 3 assists, so he had a 4-point night. We mentioned Beauvillier scoring against his old team.
Yep.
He did also.
I really hope he just becomes like a really good offensive player for the Canucks.
He's
That'd be
got
really
2
funny.
goals for Vancouver already.
Hey, there you go.
But even though they went 1-2-1, Elias Pettersson is their top player because he had 4 goals and 2 assists.
Damn. Nice.
Yeah, so
He's good. He's really good.
he's so good. Last year he had kind of a down year, but he was dealing with some injuries.
Yeah.
His rookie year he was getting bullied, like getting a lot of dirty hits against him that they weren't calling. So like,
Just to backtrack really quick, just because I thought
Yeah.
of this when you mentioned they had a close game against the Rangers, I would like to point out nobody's really talking about Igor Shesterkin this year
no,
because he's still playing fine. He's
He's
playing
still-
absolutely fine,
he's still one of the better goalies.
but he's not like a god killer like he
No.
was last year. I'm just saying. Look out,
You're right.
Rangers! Because he effectively stole two playoff series last year.
Yeah,
From the Penguins, and then, or no, they lose
lost
in the second round. Okay, well he kept them in
Yes,
the playoffs a lot more.
yes.
No, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They
Did
beat
they?
Carolina,
Oh yeah.
and then they lost to Tampa Bay.
yes.
Yeah.
I
So
was
he
misremembering when they ran into.
he effectively won 2 series for them. Now their team is different this year. Obviously, they have they added Vinny Trocheck this year, last offseason. Now
Yep.
they have Vladimir Tarasenko, who has some playoff success as well. But I'm just saying, he's not a world beater like he was last year. So I don't know.
Right, like who are we looking at for like Vesna this year? Allmark?
Sorokin. Sorokin or Olmark, probably. Because
Maybe,
just Olmark because of how many wins he has, but Sorokin has really good numbers. He just has a
killing it.
very bad record because the Islanders
Won't score
just
in front of him.
don't score.
And also maybe Hellebuck too.
Yeah.
Hellebuck, Ottinger, those are the
I don't really
4
pay attention
names.
to the trophies until closer to the end of the year.
Oh, I don't do it until they're announcing
I
them.
imagine McDavid's going to win the MVP because he's definitely going to win the scoring title.
Right, he's going to hit 150 points.
And almost always,
Yeah.
whoever wins the scoring title gets the MVP. So
Fair. All right, Calgary's up next.
Calgary.
1-1 this week. 25, 18, and 10 for 60 points, which is 5th.
Ooh, technically under 500 though.
Yes.
10 overtime losses. That's
Yes,
insane.
10 overtime losses. So we're going to start with the overtime loss against the Rangers, where Markstrom made a save and defense just wasn't there to like pick up that rebound. But Heedle was.
Oh yeah.
Heedle
no,
what?
No, it was Lafreniere.
Lafreniere, sorry.
I'm
I knew-
sorry. I didn't mention that.
I knew it
in
was one of the
talking
kids.
about the Rangers. Lafreniere was the one that dunked that in, but it was
Yeah.
like nobody was there, and then Markstrom broke his stick on the net.
Yeah, of course.
Rightfully so, because I don't know where his defensemen were.
They don't play well in front of him for some reason.
I don't know if he's a dick and they just don't like him.
Maybe
I always wonder
not
that.
last year.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, last year they liked him because
maybe
he
they're
was in the
just-
running for Vesna.
Well, maybe they're overly confident with him,
That
and then
that's
that could be it.
very happens.
I do always think every time the defense plays like really well in front of one goalie and not the other one, I'm like, maybe that goalie's just an asshole.
Maybe that goalie's an asshole, or maybe they're just like, I don't actually trust you, so I'm gonna
That
play
could
better.
be it too, yeah.
Mangiapane had a goal and assist in that game. Then they lost to Detroit.
Bread eater. That's what his name means.
Yeah, I know. 1-2.
Our Italian friend keeps telling me that. You know who you are.
I keep saying it on the podcast.
I keep saying it on the podcast too. I think we trade off every week. Who says it?
They outshot Detroit 36-17,
Damn.
but they did not have the.
Did they lose?
Yeah, 1-2.
Of course they did.
1-2.
Yeah.
I don't have a top player for that game.
Nope.
But that game made them mad, so they went to Buffalo and kicked the shit out of them. Down 2-0. They scored 7 unanswered goals.
God damn. Good Lord.
Yeah, 7-2.
7 on a touchdown unanswered.
Yes. Dylan Dubé had a goal and 3 assists, and they outshot Buffalo 40-23.
Yeah.
They were mad.
That makes sense.
They were mad.
I'd be mad too, outshooting a team by more than 2 times and then losing 2-1.
They don't have a top player because they had 4 guys get 4 points.
Oh.
Dubé got all 4 points in that game.
Oh, right,
like Tyler
yeah.
Toffoli, Coleman, and I can't think of who else off the top of my head.
Okay.
Backlund, I think so. Those guys all had 4 points.
Calgary really perplexes me because on paper they should be a lot better than they are presenting themselves.
Now they aren't fully out of the hunt because right now these next 3 teams, 4th through 2nd, all tied.
Oh, God, Jesus.
65 points.
Great.
So that is 5 points ahead of Calgary.
That's volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I saw was 8 of the top 10 teams are in the East.
Yep, that makes sense.
Outside of Dallas and Winnipeg.
That makes total sense.
And then the Pacific is a bloodbath.
Hate the Eastern Conference.
All right, we're gonna start with LA because they're technically in 4th, I believe. They only played 1 game, and that was
It was
Pittsburgh.
against Pittsburgh, yeah.
1 game, 6-0 shutout.
Yep.
Phoenix Copley had 25 saves at 25. They were 2 for 5 on the power play, 5 for 5 on the penalty kill, and Kempe had 4 goals.
4 goals. Sidney Crosby also got kicked out towards the end of this game.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby had 2 game misconducts.
Yep.
Because,
He got 1.
well, him...
It was him and Mikey Anderson,
Yes.
right?
So, Crosby was in front of their net, of LA's net. Mikey Anderson gave him the good, like,
He whacked it.
cross-check.
Yeah, he cross-checked him pretty hard.
Sub high. I think what really made Crosby mad, it was as Sean Dursey was back skating, so
Yeah,
he
ran
went into
him.
Dursey.
Yeah,
like,
Dursey didn't do anything wrong.
no, he got pushed in basically
Right in front of him,
into Dursey's feet. So that's kind of a dangerous situation.
Sure.
They did call Anderson for it. Like, they called the
That's crazy because they usually do not.
right.
Yeah.
They called a penalty on Anderson, and Anderson and Crosby were kind of getting it, like, trash talking before Anderson went into the box. They gave both of them game misconducts, which was really weird.
That is weird.
Like, and there's only 10 minutes. 10 minutes and 19 seconds left. So a game misconduct is 10 minutes.
It must have been really stupid because Crosby then stalked the referee, shit-talking him.
And then got
another one, so got kicked
To
out
me,
again.
if I'm Crosby, I'm just like, I just got a game misconduct for no reason. I'm going to earn it.
I mean, maybe, or he
'Cause-
could have been like, what are you talking about? Why am I getting a game misconduct for just, like,
Lip reading, yeah, he was
talking
asking that.
like, me and him were just trash-talking.
Right.
I can't imagine
Anderson-
Crosby said anything like
Anderson was
bad enough
confused,
to
too.
get
Like, he's
get
just
kicked
like,
out.
he's
And
in
also, if they're jawing at each other, I don't know why Mikey Anderson got a game misconduct either.
Yeah.
Honestly,
exactly.
Yeah.
He's in the penalty box, like,
and he's like, "Why
trying
am I
to step into the penalty box. And
like,
he's
what?
just like, what?
What am I
What's
getting
going
a game
on?
misconduct for?"
I guess because
there was a specific ref that
yes,
was,
I was about to say
yeah.
Derek Grant or something like that.
No, that's a hockey player. That's a player.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the guy's name is, but apparently he likes to make games about himself.
Yeah, I
So-
saw that too, like Angel Hernandez type of ref.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like to blame refs for shit like this, but like giving those 2 guys a game of time that doesn't even make sense.
Like,
it's not. Look, here's the thing.
you're
If-
worried about a game getting out of hand with which it's 6-0 with 5 minutes left.
Sure,
Kinda,
I guess,
but-
but it's not like LA and Pittsburgh are like rivals.
And
you know?
it's not like
they play twice a year.
It's not like Pittsburgh has any like heavy hitters
Not really,
that
no. Yeah,
that are gonna be like
they don't have
dirty.
any real
They-
dirt players
no.
on their team, and so like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah,
It's just a weird call by that ref, and then Crosby was like, "Man, fuck you," and then he got another one. So,
and I respect it. Honestly, I respect it.
so I mean, he hasn't.
It was just pettiness.
He didn't get fined or suspended, as far as I know. So,
like it was just spite, and I respect it. All right, so we're gonna go third now.
just like your fiance surviving off of spite,
Yeah,
not for you, but for the world in general. And
that's what
kinda
I
for
do.
you.
Yeah. Third place is Edmonton. I don't know if I said LA's record. It was 29, 18, and 7.
Oh, I don't think you did. Yeah.
Edmonton is 30, 19, and 5. They went 2-1-1 this week. They went on a East Coast road trip. They beat Detroit 5-2. They lost to Philly in a shootout, like Bert said. They
Shameful.
then beat Ottawa 6-3, and then they lost to Montreal 2-6.
Shameful.
I don't.
6-2. Like, come
Montreal played them well. They
on. I
Montreal-
mean, maybe you could say it's the end of a road, like an East Coast road trip, but like
You can say that
Montreal's not good.
it was a back-to-back for the Ottawa Montreal. But Montreal ended McDavid's 15-game point streak.
Good.
Yeah, and they outshot Montreal 37-14.
Montreal only had 14 shots.
Sorry, that was face-offs.
Oh, okay.
Face-offs.
Jesus Christ.
The shots were
If they let up 6 goals on 14 shots.
the shots were actually even. That's my fault.
Okay.
That's my fault.
Okay.
Face-offs, they won 37. Montreal won 14.
That's still like pretty
yeah.
absurd. There's only 51 face-offs in that game.
Only 51 face-offs in that game.
That's also kind of weird.
They adjusted. Were 15 for 15 on the penalty kill.
Oh, they got a shorthanded goal.
They got 3 shorthanded goals
Jesus.
over the course of the week.
Oh, that's awesome.
2 of them, something's funky. Yeah. Oh, I was being cute against Detroit. I said 6 for 5 on the penalty kill.
Oh, okay.
That's where I missed. I've lost one for a second. They did have 2 shorthanded goals against Ottawa as well.
Being cute.
Yeah, I gotta not do that because I confused myself. Yeah, I mean, not too much to say.
It's fairly all right week.
The games,
Kind of 2 shameful losses, honestly, but
yeah, the games they won, they blew out, and the games they lost.
it's one thing to lose a game to like Boston or Vegas or somebody, and then another thing to lose to Philadelphia and Montreal in the same week.
They only lost to Philadelphia via shootout.
Yeah, and a shootout is essentially a coin flip, but
like you took Philadelphia
Philly took you to a shootout.
Yeah.
So like
Fogle had 2 goals in the Detroit win, and then McDavid had a goal and 2 assists in the Ottawa win. Also, Evander Kane is back.
Yes, he is. I saw that.
He played his first game against Ottawa. No, I think he played all 4 games.
I think he played against. He definitely played against Philly because he scored against Philly.
He played all 4 games. That's my fault because he is their top player with 3 goals and 2 assists. He also fought Brady Tkachuk.
Really?
Yes, Brady Tkachuk.
Dude, that's crazy. He got his wrist cut in a game, and he just fought somebody this first week back. That's nuts.
Third game in, he fought
that
Brady.
Man, crazy.
He fought Brady, who was not a bad fighter, and it was a pretty good tilt.
He gambles with his money. He gambles with his health.
Well, also, if you think, he had his radial nerve sliced.
Yeah.
So he might not actually have full feeling in that hand.
That's even crazier that he scored 3 goals that way.
Yes. But if you might be punching without any physical repercussions.
Like,
yeah.
He just punched him with a nub at that point.
It's more, I can't feel this in my hand, so like it's not hurting
this
me.
Is going into your face.
Yep. All right. That's Edmonton. Now we're going to go with Seattle, who is, I think, technically in second. It doesn't really matter because they're all tied.
Yeah.
Seattle had a bad week. 1-3. It's why everything's tied.
Yeah.
They're 30-18-5. They East Coast trip for them as well. They started with the Islanders getting shut out. Then they lost 1-3. Grubauer did only let in 2 goals, so that 1-3 is closer than it seemed. But they were 2 for 4 on the penalty kill. Remember how a couple weeks ago I said their penalty kill was doing better than what it has been? It's back to shit.
Yeah, all right.
5 for 10.
Regressing to the mean.
This is worse than the mean because, again, 5 for 10.
Regressing.
They 3-6 to the New York Rangers, where they went 1 for 3 on the penalty kill and then adjusted 0 for 5 on the power play.
Sweet.
Yep.
Good job.
Yep. Good job. And then they finished by beating Philadelphia, like you said.
Yeah.
Still gave up a shorthanded.
Jesus Christ.
And Jane Swartz had 2 goals.
Real bad special teams week for Seattle.
We might have to look at this later. Philadelphia might be leading the league in shorthanded goals this season.
I'll look it up right now while you're talking.
I know Edmonton's up there, but I feel like Philadelphia has gotten a lot of shorthanded goals.
What? They got nothing to lose.
Lawton specifically has 2 this season. All right, we're gonna finish up with Vegas, who going into the All-Star break was 2 for 10.
Yeah, they were in a bad stretch.
3-0 this week.
Yeah.
And every single game was a shutout, blowout.
Yeah, they had a really good week.
They are now 32, 18-4, 68 points, which is first. 5-1 against Nashville. Aiden Hill, 16 for 17. That was a very low shot game in general.
Oh, wow.
Chandler Stevenson had a goal and assist. They beat Minnesota 5-1 as well. Eichel had a goal and assist. And then
hey, look at him scoring.
They stomped Anaheim 7-2. Eichel again a goal and assist. They did have 4 guys listed with 4 points.
Why wouldn't that just be at the front? I'm sorry, keep talking.
Yeah. They did have 4 different guys with 4 points. I believe Carrier, Stevenson, Eichel all had 4 points.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now, going into news. For the Pacific, Anaheim. Things got a little bit worse for them. Because Troy Terry is on the IR with an upper body injury. He did not play any games this week. Klingberg is day-to-day with an illness. He missed the last game of the season, or last game of the week, with an illness. And then I believe Stolarz is questionable with a lower body. I didn't really see anything. Might be one of the reasons why Gibson played in that 7-2 loss. He played that entire game because Stolarz wasn't there to back him up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And then...
Finally, God. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers are leading the league in shorthanded goals with 10.
Ha!
And the Oilers have 9.
Ha!
There you go, yeah.
It's crazy that Philadelphia is right there with shorthanded goals.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Sorry that took me so long.
Yeah, no worries.
The NHL website made it hard to find that for some reason.
And I wouldn't have found it as fast.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Anaheim's injury news. For Calgary, I didn't actually write his name, which is hilarious.
Some guy got injured.
No, I know exactly who it is. It's Rasmus Anderson because he got hit by a car.
Oh, right. I forgot he got hit by a car.
He's only listed as day-to-day.
Well, yeah, he was released from the hospital that night.
He was released from the hospital that night, but he said he woke up in the ambulance.
He was on a bike or a scooter? Yeah, and he just got hit by a car.
Yeah, so he...
Thankfully, he's okay.
Yeah, seems fine. But, yeah, so right now he's only day-to-day.
Well, if he woke up in the ambulance, I would guess that he probably has a concussion.
But the guy for Anaheim, who was in a car accident, still hasn't played yet.
Who? Wait, who was in a car accident? I don't
Grant?
remember.
Derek Grant.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He
Um,
hit Rasmus Anderson with his car.
Yeah, he got at the Boston game a couple weeks ago. He was in a car accident on his way to the game.
That's right, yeah. I
And
forgot
he still
about
hasn't
that.
played, and it's been 2 months.
Oh.
For Edmonton, Clem Costin
Car accidents could really fuck you up.
they really can.
Yeah.
Clem Costin is day to day, and it's an undisclosed injury.
For Edmonton.
For Edmonton, yep. And then we're on to the LA Kings. There's no injuries for them.
Hey, that's good.
Trevor Moore is back, and Gabe Vilardi. Nope. Alex Kaleyev. They're both back. Gabe Vilardi isn't it? No new injuries, but Phoenix Copley signed a new deal.
Oh, that's right.
1 year, $1.5 million. So that means Quick's probably gonna retire, or
Yeah, he might have told him.
Peterson is gone. So
I don't know how, but okay.
yeah, so they might. I don't know Peterson's numbers in the AHL, but hopefully they're good.
knows? Yeah.
Hopefully they're good.
Well, I mean, if Quick retires, then I guess, I mean, they already have Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson
Signed,
and Copley combo.
I mean, yeah, Quick might have been like, hey, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now for San Jose.
Oh, hey, LA unveiled their Dustin Brown
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
statue. Yeah.
Yes,
That was in front of the Pittsburgh game.
it's their only game this week.
Yeah.
And so they officially retired Dustin Brown's number of 23, put that in the rafters, and they unveiled a new Dustin Brown statue. And I got to say, there's something about Dustin Brown's face that statues, like, makers cannot capture, because he looks like a 65-year-old man in this new statue.
I haven't really looked at the statue.
They had this glorious picture of, because the statue's him with the cup over his head.
Yeah.
They have this glorious picture of him screaming with the cup over his head. He has like no teeth in his mouth.
Yeah.
And they went with like this expressionless dude who doesn't even look like him. It's basically like that Cristiano Ronaldo statue.
Like,
that-
who is that?
That
Oh, that would be a good mini episode. The worst sports trophies or statues, and
which
show
is
them to
crazy
Jenny.
because like they have now a lot of the arguments of all the numbers that you retire and all the statues that you get Dustin Brown.
Yeah.
Now
It was the first cup that the Kings have ever won.
he was the captain
captain.
for 2 cups.
Yeah.
He's the captain for 2 cups, the first cups they've ever won. I understand.
Yeah, I
and
get
he
it.
played his entire career
Yeah,
there.
I get it.
He
I get
changed
it.
his game to still stay on that
Stay
team.
on the team. Yeah.
So I completely understand giving retiree his number. Statue wise, LA does statues because
LA loves them statues.
LA
yeah.
because they also they also play in the same arena as the Lakers.
Yeah.
And there are so many Lakers statues. And there's
Kobe, I assume.
Kobe,
Magic
Shaq.
Johnson, Shaq, yeah.
Johnson,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
There's a Wayne Gretzky statue.
He did play.
He didn't do anything for the Kings but play there.
He scored a bunch of points for the Kings.
He
but
brought-
They didn't win a championship with him.
He made hockey cool in the U.S. That's what he
true.
did.
That's true. Well, he made hockey cool in LA specifically. It was
Yeah,
cool
but-
in other places in the U.S.
Lower North.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But the Shaq statue that they have,
Is it bad?
it's so good.
Oh, okay.
It's him. It's a statue that is hanging. He's breaking a backboard. It's such a cool statue. LA has so many cool statues. Mainly Lakers statues. Get one of them to do it.
Get the guy who made that or girl or whoever made that statue.
Because they made a statue of like a bunch of the team winning the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like Kopitar, they have Doughty, they have Dustin Brown holding the cup up, they have Quick. And the Quick one, like, they're using that picture that I was talking about, but it doesn't look good. So there's just something about Dustin Brown's face that they can't capture in bronze.
I mean, he just has one of those faces. He has a very his face is kind of similar to Phil Kessel's, where it's just very round,
Yeah.
so it doesn't look like he's an athlete. He just kind of looks like a dude,
Yeah,
who's
dude,
like drives
yeah.
a truck or something,
Right.
You know, he just has I'm sure he's a top athlete. He was playing hockey.
Yeah.
You know, he was playing in the highest league of hockey. You know,
And he was playing when the Pacific were just the juggernauts beating the crap out of each other.
Yep.
The Ducks, the Sharks,
the Kings, yeah,
just murdering.
Vancouver in there sprinkled a little bit, yeah,
just murdering each other.
Edmonton at times, you know. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
LA loves them. I get retiring his number totally.
I
The
even,
statue, that's a little weirder, but LA
but
loves
it's LA,
statues,
so like I don't
yeah.
even care
So,
a little
whatever.
bit.
Yeah.
But at least make it look good. Make it look good. Just Google Cristiano Ronaldo statue,
We'll do
and
it
you
after.
know what I'm talking
we'll
about.
do it
It's
after.
not good. All right.
I'm sure some of you out there know what we're talking about.
Moving on.
Yeah.
San Jose, Kakkonen is day to day with an upper body injury. He
Hmm.
left the Washington Capitals game after getting hit up high in the one goal he let up.
That reminded me, just really quick, in the Pittsburgh Colorado game, Casey DeSmith deflected, I think, at least 2 shots with his head.
Cool.
That just reminded me of that. I meant to say that during that review.
Also, Jake Reimer is out with an illness.
Oh, well.
So they ain't got no goalies right now.
Well, they don't play until... Oh, they play tonight.
Yeah.
They play Pittsburgh tonight.
Who knows who's
Yeah.
I don't know who's playing in net. It could be Reimer. Reimer could be back.
Yeah, he might have just had like a cold or a stomach bug or something.
Yeah, it was just a non-COVID illness. All right. For Seattle, Burakovsky is week to week with a lower body injury.
Sucks.
And then for Vegas, I think we mentioned this last week, but Stone is on the IR.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
With a back
Surgery. Yeah. So they officially put him on the IR now, so they can retroactively put him on the LTIR.
Yeah. And then reactivate him in the playoffs, I'm sure.
Fine, but you got to make it first.
Well,
Problem is,
you also have to hope that his back is better by then.
Logan Thompson's week to week with a lower body.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
He left with a non-contact injury against Minnesota. Aiden
That's a
Hill came
big,
back in.
big problem.
Aiden Hill has been playing very well, but he's not Thompson. So
So you're starting goaltender down though.
yeah, it's your
So
technically your backup down because
there's a few.
Liner who hasn't played all season
I'm interested to see. Oh, he's not going to play.
this season. No,
No.
no.
I'd probably.
He might be
not.
done.
I think he's done. It's interesting to see because the
Maybe not with that snake debt.
maybe not. Well, they're still paying him. Vegas is.
You're right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's interesting to see. I believe the trade deadline is March 3rd. I think.
Oh, it's a lot closer than I thought.
Yeah,
it was.
it's coming up in the next couple of weeks. But it's interesting to see what goalie movement might happen because there are quite a few playoff teams that could use some goalie help.
Yeah.
Vegas in particular, especially with Logan Thompson going down. But just off the top of my head, Pittsburgh could probably use some help. Toronto would probably like to solidify their goaltending as well
Because Murray's on the
because
IR.
Murray's on the IR.
They sent Joseph Woll down.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, to like 7 hours ago.
Oh, maybe Murray's coming off the IR then.
I don't know.
Maybe, but Murray is pretty injury
yeah.
Riddled. Samsonov has been playing well for them, but
Yes.
like you might want to get a veteran backup or somebody that you know could come in and play competently at least for you. But like, there's quite a few teams that could use a goalie.
Yep.
But then you look at Boston, who doesn't need anything.
Yes.
But I'm interested to see what, if any, interesting things might happen at the trade deadline. Timo Meyer might move. It seems like Jake Chikrin's going to move at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it for the Pacific.
Speaking of Jake Chikrin, let's start with the Central. And as always, I always go in alphabetical order.
Because you're boring.
I am pretty boring. Let's start with the Arizona Coyotes, who went 1-0-2 this week. Not a bad week, honestly,
No.
for them. They beat Minnesota 3-2, where, hey, Jake Chikrin had 2 goals.
Did Minnesota have a bad week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like
we'll
Minnesota
get
had
to
a bad
them
week.
in a few games here. Karol Vejmelka, who's another goalie who maybe might get traded. You never know. He's having a great season for Arizona on a pretty bad team.
Arizona has good goalies, and it's always had good goalies.
It's such a weird thing with Arizona.
They are a goalie factory.
With all of their changes in coaching and all of that, they've always been just a goalie factory for some reason.
Which is, it also keeps their goalies hidden for longer.
Yeah.
Like Darcy Kemper.
Like Karol Vejmelka.
Yeah.
And then
Mike Smith.
Then they peddled Kemper for a first-round pick to Colorado, last year? I think, right? And then, so, I could see them peddling Vejmelka for a first-round pick this year.
Yep.
Maybe. Or even next year. Anyway. He played well in that game, 33 of 35. They lost to Chicago in overtime, 4-3, where they were outshot 44-26. Clayton Keller, goal and 2 assists. Schmaltz, goal and an assist.
Good.
There you go. And then they lost to St. Louis 6-5 in overtime. Schmaltz again, goal and 3 assists. Keller, 2 goals and an assist. And Valimaki, who they just re-signed last week or the week before, had 4 assists.
Good for him.
And that's already looking like a bargain because it was 1 year, $1 million, I think, if I remember correctly. And he had 4 assists in this game, and I think 6 assists this week overall.
Oh, that's cool.
But their top player of the week is Clayton Keller, 3 goals, 4 assists.
Very
there you
cool.
go. Chicago, up next, 1-1. And 1.
Yeah, it's not bad for Chicago.
No, not at all. They lost to Anaheim, as Clay already mentioned, 3-2 in overtime, where Jason Dickinson had a goal and an assist. They beat Arizona, as I just said, 4-3 in overtime. Sam Lafferty, 2 assists. Anthony Ciu, a goal and 2 assists. And Caleb Jones
I forgot Anthony Ciu was still playing.
had an overtime game winner. Yeah, we'll see if he gets moved by the trade deadline, too. I could see him and Max Domi getting moved from Chicago. Somebody needs center help. Somebody needs some speed with Anthony Ciu.
Why would, Max Domi's not even that good anymore.
Yeah,
He
but
was never that good.
if you need a fourth line center, if you need to solidify your bottom 6, Max Domi, you could do worse,
Yeah.
And you could probably convince them to retain 50% because he's a free agent after this year. So
Right.
And then Chicago lost to Winnipeg 4-1.
Yep.
Nothing else to say about that game. And you know what? They did go 1-1-1. They don't get a top player.
Not enough.
Not enough spread out scoring for them. Colorado, also went 1-1-1 this week. They lost to Pittsburgh, as I mentioned earlier, 2-1 in overtime.
Yep.
And as I also mentioned before, they controlled the majority of this game, just not the very end of it, which sucks for them.
Right.
They then lost to Tampa Bay 5-0,
Yes, they did.
where they were 1 for 3 on the penalty kill. They only won 31% of their faceoffs in this game.
That's
Pretty
crazy.
bad.
Yeah, that's not good.
They just kind of generally got worked by Tampa Bay in this game.
Yeah.
Hey, but then they bounced back, beat Florida 5-3.
And this was a game that was like the Pittsburgh game, but then they didn't let up.
Well,
So they very much controlled.
Yeah,
for the
if I
majority.
could guess how this week went for Colorado, they were gassed after the Pittsburgh game and then probably pissed that they didn't win that game and then just laid a turd against Tampa Bay and then were extra pissed and then beat the crap out of Florida.
Yeah.
McKinnon, 2 goals and an assist in that game against Florida. Comfer, 2 assists. Rantanen, 2 assists. And Georgiev was 42 of 45 in that game.
Wow.
I didn't write it down. There was a lot of shots in that game.
Yeah.
I actually think Colorado outshot Florida in that game. I want to say it was like 50 to 45 or something like that.
How many shots did he face?
45.
49. So
49, 45. Yeah,
they-
it was pretty
wasn't-
close, but
very
it
close.
was a lot of shots.
Yeah.
McKinnon, their top player of the week, with 3 goals and an assist.
Yep.
Moving on to Dallas. Oh, I can't wait to talk about Minnesota. Dallas 2-1 this week, just
Okay.
plugging along, keeping up being the top team. I believe the top team in the Central,
chugging.
maybe the top team in the West in general. I don't
many
know
points
if
they
they're-
got?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. They might be ahead of. Oh wait, hold on.
No, they are 100%. They're the top in the
Oh, I
West.
did. Hold on. I think they're. Yeah,
They're
I'll pull up the standings really quick.
also Winnipeg has more than
Oh, they're ahead of Vegas too.
yeah.
Oh. Dallas beat Anaheim 3-2 in a shootout. Ottinger 32 of 34. Robertson and Sagan each scored in the shootout. They then beat Minnesota 4-1, where Rope Hintz had a goal and an assist, Robertson 2 assists, and then they finished off their week by, kind of a disappointing game against Tampa Bay, 3-1.
It happens.
Yeah. Ottinger's their top player of the week. Went 2-0 with a 144 goals against and a 959 save percentage. They are tops of the West. Oh, actually, Vegas went ahead of Winnipeg.
Oh, they have 1 point.
So Dallas, Vegas, Winnipeg are the top players. There's a game in hand for Winnipeg.
Yeah, game in hand for Winnipeg. Let's talk about the Minnesota Miles.
Boy, oh boy. Minnesota really fallen off here. They're in trouble. They went 1-3 this week.
Uh-oh.
They lost to Arizona 3-2. They lost to Dallas 4-1. They lost to Vegas 5-1. And hey, they finished off the week by beating the New Jersey Devils 3-2 in a shootout.
You got those points.
Where Matt Zuccarello and Frederick Gaudreau had the shootout goals.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about Minnesota. They did not have a good week. Where outside of they did not score more than 2 goals in any game. Technically, because the shootout
doesn't count. That doesn't count.
So they scored 2, 1, 1, and 2 goals.
It's not good.
No, it is not.
You have Kaprizov and Zuccarello. What are you doing?
Yeah, they got smoked this week though. So, and they're tied with Calgary and Colorado, and Nashville's not that far behind. So
that means
let me go over to the wild card really quick.
Is Pacific sending 5 right now?
No. Central's got to be.
It's 4.
Minnesota has the last wild card spot, but they are tied with Calgary
with a game in hand.
With a game in hand. That's why they have the last spot.
I didn't realize it was that crazy for
It's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. And Nashville is only 4 points behind. Nashville actually has 2 games in hand on Minnesota and 3 in hand on Calgary. So Nashville could vault them. Maybe. If they play better. Nashville. Speaking of Nashville, they went 1-1 this week.
Yep.
They got smoked by Vegas, as Clay already mentioned, 5-1, where they were outshot 30-17.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to win a lot of games getting 17 shots, but hey, they beat Philly in overtime 2-1.
Isn't Forsberg hurt, or is he playing again?
No, I think he's playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about it. Or maybe he got hurt recently and I didn't write it down. I don't know. Duchesne had the overtime game winner against Philly and an assist on top of that. And UC Saros was 23 of 24 in that game. Duchesne's their top player. He scored the goal against Vegas, too. So
cool.
2 goals and an assist this week. St. Louis played 1 game, and they beat Arizona 6-5 in overtime.
Woo!
Shen, Kyrou, Rosen, and Pardieko each had 2 assists in this game, while Buchnevich had 3 assists in this game, and Ryan O'Reilly scored the overtime game winner. And you can't really give him a top player. No. They only played 1 game,
right?
So I guess it's Buchnevich. He had 3 assists.
Sammy Blais scored a goal.
Sammy Blais also scored a goal in this game. So welcome back, Sammy Blais. And then finally, Winnipeg also only played 1 game, where they beat Chicago 4-1.
Cool.
And Wheeler had 2 goals and an assist, and Morrissey had a goal and an assist.
Fantastic.
I don't know why so many teams only played 1 game this week.
That's all you got.
So weird.
Yeah, no, it's...
News-wise, Nashville re-signed a couple of their depth players.
Yes, they did.
Cole Smith to 1 year, $775K, and Tommy Novak to a 1 year, $800K.
Cool.
That's it. That's all the news for.
I have so much more news.
I don't. Well, you write down like day-to-day injuries. I usually kind of just skip over them.
Well, because I do that because sometimes day-to-day turns into much longer.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I'm not telling you you're wrong.
And also guys that like missed a couple games this past week.
Forsberg might be day-to-day. That might be why I didn't write it down.
All right.
But that's it for me.
Cool. We're gonna go to the Atlantic. Still worst to first. So that means Montreal.
Yay!
Talking about Montreal. 2-0 this week.
I was just about to say I'm reading their weekly record there.
2-0, beating the Islanders 4-3 in overtime with Montembeault in net. Matherson had a goal and an assist, and then
Matheson.
Yes.
There's no R in there.
I heard it as soon as you corrected me. It's like I know where I messed up.
He had the overtime game winner, I think.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He had the overtime game winner, and then Edmonton talked about that 6-2 win
Man, oh man.
with Jake Allen in net. Allen's back.
The legend, Jake Allen.
Jordan Harris, 2 goals.
Okay.
Defenseman.
All right.
First game after securing a new contract, too.
Ah.
He had just signed a 2-year, $1.4 million contract.
Good for him, I guess.
He's one of those defensemen that, again, you don't hear much about him because he's playing well. He's a rookie. He's doing very well.
Good.
And I've talked about the crazy amount of faceoffs that they did not win already. 2 for 5 on the power play
Sick.
because they were 2 for 3 against Edmonton. And then a shorthanded goal against Edmonton as well. It was kind of crazy.
Even better.
They
were just like suck at Edmonton.
outside of the faceoffs, they outplayed Edmonton. Matheson is their top player with a goal and 2 assists.
I would like to say I saw a tweet earlier today or yesterday. Harvey Pinard.
Raphael Harvey Pinard.
Yeah, has 6 goals, I think, since in 9 games that he's played.
6 goals in 9 games. He's their 7th highest scorer.
Yeah.
He is tied with Sean Monahan.
Yep, that's what. That's what I wanted to say. I was
Monahan's been hurt. What do you want?
But he's still the 7th highest goal scorer on the team. That's nuts. Or he's tied with Monahan anyway.
Monahan has been hurt.
My dog right now. I just wanted to pause real quick.
Oh, it's passed the hell out.
No, she's looking at me. She's laying on the floor looking so dejected right now because we're not paying attention to her.
Yeah.
She's a real drama queen.
I don't know if I said their records 22, 27, and 4, 48 points. Yeah. In 48 points. All right.
Keep talking.
I had to switch it up because standings changed after I wrote these. Ottawa is in 7th place right now. They only played that one game, which they lost. They lost to Edmonton 3-6. Forsberg was in net, and unfortunately, Forsberg ended the game tearing both his MCLs.
How did he do that? I need to watch a video of it.
Hamonic pushed Hyman on top of him.
Oh, that's his own teammate did that.
His own teammate did that.
It's so crazy. He tore both his MCLs.
Hyman said he almost stopped playing that game.
I would too. He probably heard it.
No, he looked at Forsberg. He looked Forsberg in the eyes and could tell he was in pain, but he couldn't get off because Hamonic was on top of him.
Oh God. Yeah, that's one of those things that's just like, Coach, I can't keep playing.
Forsberg had to get stretchered off.
Oh my God. Yeah, because he probably couldn't walk.
Right, and then Sogard had to come in and finish the game.
God, it's so crazy. I feel really, really bad for Forsberg.
I feel bad for Hyman too.
Well, yeah, Hyman as well.
Just mentally, he's just like he looked really shaken up on it.
I would be too.
I no longer feel bad for Shabbat for slashing his own teammate in the face on the bench that one time because
it was Hamonic.
It was preemptive.
I forgot that happened.
He deserved it. They are 24-24-3 for 51 points. That's not that far behind Montreal now, is it?
No. How many points does Montreal have? 48?
48.
Oh, it's getting close.
And in 6th place is Detroit.
2-1
this week for 23-28 with 54 points.
Climbing the standings.
It's more Montreal is catching up.
It's quick. Insert the meme of Captain Jack Sparrow going, "We're catching up."
Yep.
Well, riding the Black Pearl. Remember, guys?
I
said
remember
a couple
that.
weeks ago or something.
I'm just thinking him where he's on the ship that
on the little boat that's just sinking further and further down.
It steps off at the perfect time.
That's Anaheim.
Yeah.
And then he steps off onto Montreal.
Yep.
And,
Detroit went 2-1 this week, losing to Edmonton. basically the Pacific teams all came to them.
Pacific versus Atlantic.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And the Pacific was on the road trip because this was all at home for Detroit. Lost to Edmonton to start the week. Bertuzzi did have a goal in that 2-5 loss.
He might get traded.
He might get traded. I can see him getting traded. Then they beat Calgary in that very close game where Billy Huso is their top player, going 35 for 36, where they got outshot by 36-17.
Still won.
Yeah, Zadina came back and he scored the game-winning goal. And then that 5-2 win over Vancouver. I do want to note that Vancouver's goalie for that game, Spencer Martin, got waived.
Today.
So
Yeah,
he lost
earlier
his
today.
job because of this game.
Well, more probably because Thatcher Demko is coming back.
Demko's coming back, and he lost his job to Delia.
Colin Delia.
I want to say Chris, but I know it's not
not
him.
Chris.
But I also know his name begins with a C, so it's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that's just like,
Not Chris. Chris is the shamed comedian.
well, Chris also has an apostrophe in his name.
Well, his name is actually Chris D'Elia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Either way, they were 2 for 6 on the power play that game. And then Larkin had 2 goals and an assist and in that game, and he's their top player with 3 goals and 2 assists.
All right.
3 for 16 on the power play. Not adjusted, 2 for 16 on the power play. Which is bad.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
pretty
bad
bad.
power
Yeah,
play.
that's pretty bad.
I do want to say, so I forgot to say this in the Ottawa. Ottawa scored on one of their power plays.
Mhm.
Adjusted, they were -1 for 4. It's just fun. It's just fun.
They played one game, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. Florida is up next because they're
Florida's not that far
Florida's
out.
not up.
But
Florida's not up next because Buffalo's up next.
Oh, okay.
Because they're in 5th, not Florida.
stupid standings changing and stuff.
Buffalo.
Oh, wait.
Chug, 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 chug. I'm going way longer than I thought. Chug, chug. Oh, now she's
There
done.
she goes.
Buffalo only played one game as well this week, and they lost to Calgary by 5.
So what is that? 6 teams that only played one game this week? It's
7.
So weird.
And then 8.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, sorry, 7.
Such
Because
strange.
Boston only had one game.
Such a strange schedule.
Which is funny because Buffalo is one of the teams that has the fewest games played. I thought Buffalo was
so
going
what
to
the
play
hell
like
is
5.
that? Yeah. This would be the perfect week to fit in some of those games that got postponed.
No, they've already announced those dates, and it's,
I know, but still.
it's next week for one, and then beginning of March for another.
Yeah.
So like, they fitted them in. You lost by 5. You were up by 2.
Yeah.
You were outshot.
He lit up a touchdown. Add an extra point.
You were outshot by 17. You don't get a top player.
Not a good game.
26, 21, and 4. 56 points.
Still in the playoff hunt.
58 points is Florida.
Florida.
They're in 4th. 2-1 this week. Bobrovsky played all 3 games.
Hey.
Spencer Knight is hurt. And Alex Lyon is Alex Lyon.
Yeah.
He's in it. He played in the NHL. He's better than I'll ever be.
Sure.
But he's not Knight or
He's not
Bobrovsky.
good.
Yeah. He's not good in NHL.
I don't know. If I knew how to ice skate, I'd probably be pretty good.
In NHL standards, he's not that good. They started their week by kicking
Come on, we have a podcast. We can shit talk.
the tar out of Tampa.
Ooh.
7-1.
Ooh.
Borowski was 32 for 33. Kachuk had 2 goals and 3 assists.
Damn.
And they outshot them 49-33. They just dominated them.
Yeah.
And then
That had to feel good.
And then one fan dominated the rat mascot.
What do you mean?
There's a video out there of a
I'll have to
fan
look it up.
like
Did he punch him?
they put him in a headlock.
This wasn't like pre like
I don't
set.
know because one, no one.
Because sometimes a lot of things with the mascots are like preset. You know?
Yes, but it's one of those things where it doesn't make it doesn't make them look good. The mascot look good.
That's probably not. Yeah.
No, but no one jumped in to stop it.
I wonder
And it
if
was
the
a Tampa
mascot,
fan that walked away.
I wonder if the mascot was like being a dick.
He stole a Tampa jersey from a dude, or no, the Tampa dude.
I wonder if it wasn't like supposed to happen, and he was just being an asshole.
I think the Tampa dude tried to put the jersey on the mascot, and he stole it, and the mascot stole it.
Yeah.
No, none of the handlers tried to stop it, and the dude definitely walked back. But at the same time, this dude could have been also super drunk. There was not very much time left in the 7-1 blowout.
Yeah.
And the security could take care of that.
Yeah.
As he's leaving.
Yeah.
So
they could just be like, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That reminded me though. There was a guy at the Dallas game who got punched right in the fucking face.
He apparently called that dude the N-word. That's why he got hit.
That guy was white.
I know.
It doesn't even make sense.
No.
So, okay, just to backtrack to Dallas really quick. I'm sorry to derail Florida, but...
All right, this fan who was on the big screen earlier...
He got caught on camera earlier...
for unveiling this glorious bowl cut mullet.
Glorious is a strong word.
It's doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Oh, man. I mean, I'll be totally honest. The guy... Outside of the haircut, the guy has nice hair.
Yeah.
He's got good hair.
So,
but, the haircut, I think, was terrible.
It was a bowl cut for everything except the back, which was
a mullet.
Full mullet.
And then later, somebody caught him on camera. I don't know. I get the story was he wouldn't sit down during
Apparently,
the game.
He stood up the entire game.
Yeah,
so
which
he
is
was
really
probably
annoying,
drunk and just...
being really annoying.
Annoying,
obnoxious,
belligerent. And then someone else...
Someone much larger than him. I would say, because he was like a thin guy.
He was a very thin guy, but it's easy to look a lot bigger than a guy when you're in stadium seating.
That's true. He was in the seats above.
I would say they're the same height. The older guy was
he was stockier.
He was older. He was stockier. He was, he could have easily had that old man strength.
Yeah, and you know what? I will give credit to Bowl Cut Mullet Man. Who knows what happened right before this happened? Because the video starts with him getting punched right in the face.
You wait a little bit for the
there's a little bit of there's a little pushing
of jawing,
and then it gets nailed right in the face.
I disagree. There is no pushing.
Oh,
there is just jawing, and then this dude rocks him. And
full credit to Mullet Man and I'm assuming his girlfriend or maybe wife. He got right back up from that punch.
The lights.
And
the
lights flickered.
No, they didn't flicker. They went out.
And then came back on.
They came back on, and he immediately came back to eat some more knuckle sandwiches. It was amazing.
But then his girlfriend got in there, and she was throwing haymakers.
The girlfriend...
They still were not... They were not winning this fight.
The girlfriend was vicious.
Yeah.
That is... I do not want to meet her in a dark alley, because she will destroy me.
I think I'd beat the crap out of Mullet Man.
I think she can take 8 out of 10 people in a fight.
Probably, yeah.
With just pure vitriol.
She's Batgirl.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was... don't fight in the stands, though, guys.
No,
Come on. I'm assuming everybody in this fight was probably drunk, including the guy that nailed him in the face. Because you're not fighting if you're not drunk. I feel like
it's really weird because there was that in that fight there was no, they were jawing, but there was no push and then punch. He just
straight cracked him in the face.
The rumor that I heard is he called him the N-word.
It's so weird because that guy was white,
very white.
Yeah, that's such a weird insult to throw. And if he did say that, then he deserved to be punched in the face.
Oh, 100%.
But I'm not gonna like tiptoe around that.
No.
If you use racial slurs, you deserve to be punched in the face. I think the United States should start National Punch a Nazi in the Face Day.
And again, he got.
And if you're mad about me saying that, I don't want you to listen to this podcast.
He got rocked.
He did. It's really funny.
rocked. That was such a good punch from the one dude.
Oh, it was square right in the mouth.
Only thing I wish it wasn't such a sucker punch, but like
It was kind of a sucker punch. It was a sucker punch.
But
it was a good punch.
Yeah,
He knocked him down like a whole row of seating.
Yeah, and again, he popped right back up.
I think, honestly, in this whole situation, and she might have said stuff too, full credit to his girlfriend. She got right in there.
To
defend him.
As soon as she saw that he was losing,
she went in there. She went in there, nails out. She was like going right at that guy.
Just also throwing haymakers herself. Yeah. All right, where am I?
So anyway, back to Florida.
All right, cool.
What were we talking about? Oh,
Tampa.
was fucking with the mascot.
Yeah, watch that video.
I'll look it up.
It's one of those things where it's like no one's reacting, so this does possibly seem staged, but at the same time,
that's the thing
it doesn't
with
look good for the mascot.
Gritty does a lot with like fucking around with fans,
right?
But it's clearly set up.
It's always set up
because the things that he's doing,
even with Benny the Bull,
if he was doing if any mascot were, because there's a lot of videos of Gritty like hitting people with pies and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're doing that to just some random fan, they're gonna be really mad.
Right.
And they could sue you for that because that would technically be assault. You're not signing a waiver to be assaulted at a game,
It's the same.
So
with
it's
like
almost definitely set up.
Benny the Bull throwing popcorn at people for like Chicago Bulls games, like.
So it's almost definitely set up. This one, kind of weird.
Yeah.
If it was set up, it was maybe not choreographed correctly.
Right. It seemed pretty stupid because the dude put him in a headlock.
Yeah.
And like pulled the jersey over the head.
Bad.
Yeah, like you're putting Victor E. Rat in a headlock. What are you doing?
Don't they have another one? Don't they have a Panther mascot
yes, they
do. The Panther mascot should have come into his defense and to like defend.
Just started throwing
defend the Rats'
right.
honor. Yeah.
We gotta keep talking.
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
they played San Jose next.
These Florida Man beers are kind of strong, and they're causing tangents. Yeah.
Speaking of Florida Man, that Tampa Bay fan.
If you guys haven't figured out, the more we drink, the more tangents happen.
I don't know what you're talking about. San Jose.
At least with me, anyway.
They beat them 4-1. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, were we not even through the games of Florida yet?
No, because that 7-1 was the 7-1 win was the first game of the. It was a Monday game.
I'm keeping it zipped until we're done with Florida.
Reinhardt had 2 goals, and then they lost to Colorado, like you said. Reinhardt did have 2 assists in that game. Adjusted, they were 9 for 8 on the penalty kill because they had 2 shorthanded goals on the week. Kachuk was their top player with 2 goals and 5 assists. Now on to Tampa Bay, who's in third.
Tampa.
Solidly in third. They had a weird week. They were 2-1-1.
Okay.
But their scheduling was weird. So they had a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. And then they played Thursday, Saturday. So not like they had a... yeah. They got their ass kicked by Florida.
Yep.
Just talked about that. Vasilevsky did his best, but he let it in 7 goals.
He let it in all 7? Damn.
He let it in all 7 because, again, he had it back-to-back.
That's going to be one of his worst games ever if he let in 7 there.
42 for 49.
That is a lot of shots.
Then they... Because Elliott had to play the next game against San Jose, which they lost in overtime. 1 for 3 on the penalty kill. That doesn't really help you out.
No.
Braden Point had 2 goals in that game, and they outshot San Jose, like I said. But then took a day off, came back, shut out Colorado.
Centered themselves.
Yep,
yeah.
Shut out Colorado. Vasilevsky went 30 for 30. 2 for 3 on that power play, and Hagel had 2 goals and an assist. And they finished by going to Dallas and then beating them in their own house. Vasilevsky 28 for 29.
Is that the game the fight happened at?
Yeah.
Might have been.
Might have been. 2 fights with Tampa fans.
I don't think.
No,
I
it's
don't
not
think it was between Tampa fans.
Tampa
I think
fans,
that was
but-
all Dallas fans fighting.
But as Florida man we're drinking shows that
Florida man.
that Tampa brings it out of you.
Just like Cigar City.
Yep. Sorelli had 2 goals and an assist in that game, so he was involved in all 3 goals in that Dallas win. Dallas win.
The win against Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were 8 for 11 on the penalty kill, which is not good for Tampa.
That's not good for them, yeah.
But they did have 5 different players who had 5 points in those 4 games.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Depth, baby.
Like, I saw...
Man, I swear to God, if they go to the Stanley Cup again, I'm going to be so annoyed.
I saw that. I'm just like, I'm not writing those 5 guys down.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair.
34, 16, and 2 with 70 points. So between third and fourth, it's 70 and then 58.
They got that locked down.
It seems like the top 3 teams in both the Atlantic and the Metro right now,
They got it locked
they're
in.
fighting for spots, and then the
And
wild
then that
card
drop off, yeah.
the wild card's a bloodbath. Well,
Yeah. It's a bloodbath, kinda.
if
Pittsburgh and Washington have the 2 wild cards right now.
if some teams get hot,
Yeah. But I think right behind them are the Islanders, if I remember correctly. But Pittsburgh has a bunch of games in hand on both Washington and the Islanders.
yes,
And then Buffalo and Florida, if I remember correctly, are the next couple of teams.
and Florida, Buffalo has the same amount of games in hand as the Penguins.
Yes, but it wouldn't be enough. Yeah, them and the Penguins, I believe, have played the same amount
Yes.
of games. So they couldn't catch the Penguins, but they do have a bunch of games in hand on everybody in front of them, up unto the Penguins. So
I think it could get very spicy.
it could
For
once
the
the
wild
games
card
start
spot.
equaling out. But my point is again, we've said this before with games in hand. I always just assume those are wins until
Until they're
the
not,
games are
yes.
played out. So theoretically, the Penguins could have a stranglehold on the first wild card spot,
Right.
and then the second wild card spot could be where the real war is happening.
You can assume that they're wins, but because it's Pittsburgh and their defense is bad, you shouldn't. I did the same thing. I assume they're wins as well, but I just couldn't help but do that.
I said until they're played out.
All right. We talked about Toronto because they only played 2 games as well
Oh yeah.
against Columbus.
Yep. Oh, that's right. Wow, those are both the only games both of those teams
They're the only
played this
games
week.
both those teams played. They were back-to-backs too.
What a weird. Really?
Yes, it was the 10th and the 11th.
Who made the schedule?
I
this
don't know.
week?
And that's why I'm not going to give Toronto as much crap for losing.
No, that second game.
That second game when you're
if
playing-
It's a back-to-backs are hard.
You're playing back-to-backs and you're putting in like a third, maybe fourth string goalie with Joseph Wall.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's fair.
He doesn't get consistent NHL time. So Wall was in net for that second game. First game, Samsonov was 30 for 30. Tavares had 2 goals in that win.
Just like ESPN.
Yeah, you missed that joke against Vasilevsky
No,
in
I know.
Colorado.
No, I thought of it.
Oh,
then,
okay.
but then I didn't want to interrupt you. So, but I'll interrupt you now.
And then losing to Columbus,
4-3.
4-3. Their special teams was perfect, 1 for 1, and then 4 for 4. But they were outshot 29-40. So yeah.
Yeah.
They're 32-14-8. They have 72 points. They're second. So
So Tampa Bay's right there. They're
catching
right behind
up.
them. Yeah.
Tampa Bay has been pretty hot, quietly.
Well,
And
it's nobody's paying attention to either of these teams
No,
because
'cause
Boston
Boston-
is in front of them.
Mitch Marner is their top player in those 2 games because he did have 4 assists. So
Totally
there you are. Boston, 1 game this week. They lost it to Washington,
Yep. 2-1.
2-1. Swayman tried hard.
Excuse me.
That second goal by Hathaway, absolutely dirty.
I'm gonna stick in your craw that was Garnet Hathaway who scored the game-winning goal of
Well,
all
he
people.
did what it was the keep in with the last possible.
Do you think he
second.
really likes Steven Universe because his name is Garnet?
He must. He has to.
It'd be really funny if he was a huge Steven Universe fan.
Garnet was his best.
And Garnet was his favorite one.
Yeah. Garnett's keep away, and then he went in between the hash marks and then went bar down.
Look, here's the thing. It's the same for any sport in the top leagues. All of these players that are playing on any team, even if they're bad, were the best player
Oh my
on
god.
their high school and or college team.
Yep.
Like by far, probably.
So I can't remember his first name. Clevenger, the baseball pitcher who
yeah,
was arrested
I
recently.
can't even think of his first
Mike?
name either. Yeah, I think it's Mike Clevenger. Yeah.
Mike Clevenger. I saw a Reddit post where the guy's just like, yeah, I realized it wasn't cut out for the major leagues when he homered me.
Cops are coming. I
Like-
know that's a fire. That's
like-
a fire truck.
I was a pitcher, and
And he homered against me. The
Yeah.
other pitcher.
yeah, the other pitcher sent it like not even close to being out. Like sent like a 350-yard shot.
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, I'm done.
That's like, oh yeah. Well, that actually just reminded me. This has nothing to do with hockey, but I saw an old video of, I guess, when the Boston Red Sox played the Japanese All Stars or something.
Yeah.
And
Ortiz.
David
Yeah.
Ortiz crushed a home run where the entire Japanese team was just like, oh my god, all of them. He just hit it. It was in a dome, so it didn't go
Yeah.
as far. You know, it's just like estimated how far it went.
Right.
But he hit it so far that the entire Japanese team was just like, well, fuck. That's well, goddamn. And I think the pitcher and the catcher on that team ended up being MLB players
Right.
eventually.
Yeah.
But he hit that homer so far that the entire team was just like, well, shit. That's we got to pitch around that guy.
I saw another. This was another Reddit post, but it was like Malcolm Subban. So like,
Yeah.
the PK's brother
Mhm.
who plays goalie.
Is he's in the league somewhere.
He's in his last year with Buffalo.
Okay.
He plays goalie, and he just showed up to a beer league.
And they were like, God damn, he's really good.
He didn't play goalie. He skated,
okay.
and he just skated circles around everybody. Because like again, he's an NHL goalie, but
Yeah.
he's still the best.
Versus all these schlubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
It wasn't even close.
it makes me think of the Mighty Ducks, the second Mighty Ducks movie, where the goalie where they trick the other team they're playing, and the goalie takes the knuckle puck shot.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, the goalie. Such a stupid movie.
Boston's 39-8-5. They have 83
What are we
points.
doing? What are we talking about?
They have 83 points, and they're in first.
Yeah.
That's it. All right,
They're in
that's it
first
for
in the
teams. So
entire
I got
league.
news.
News.
And then we're done.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Never.
Yeah,
I
but
have
did
like
you?
15 more tangents.
Oh my god.
What?
All
Did
right.
you what?
Did you go through both your?
Yes. Yeah. What are you talking about?
They're 8.5%. What do
I
you
know.
want?
I'm on 3.
Good for you.
Well, I don't have to drive home, so.
All right. So Boston doesn't have any injuries. They're fully healthy.
Shut up, Boston.
I know, right? Now Buffalo also is pretty healthy, except for Ben Bishop, but we don't count him.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They signed Dylan Cousins to an extension.
Yes, they did.
7 years, $7.1 million. It's going to be a bargain. They got
I mean, that Tage Thompson deal's already a
Tage
bargain.
Thompson and Dylan Cousins
Tage Thompson's going to hit 40 goals
for
this
the
year,
next
easy.
7 years for $14 million. They got both of them for $14 million.
That's not. Well, Cousins is already over 30. Or I'm sorry, not Cousins. Tage Thompson's already over 30 goals. I'm pretty sure. Here, I
Look
got
up
it.
Dylan
Yeah,
Cousins
I
for
got
me,
it, I got
please.
it, Yeah.
While I continue, because
I don't think he's not quite at a point per game, Dylan Cousins, but he's like really close.
I think
if I remember correctly.
I think Buffalo.
Very shrewd deals.
Well, Buffalo front office figured it out. I think they're 2 years away from being what.
Oh my God, Tage Thompson has 35 goals in 51 games. Jesus Christ.
Buffalo is 2 years away from being what the Devils are right now.
There might be 1 year away from
They
that.
got to shore up their goalies, and they got to shore up their blue line.
Cousins,
and
by
that's
the
it.
way, 17 goals, 27 assists, 44 points in 50 games.
Yeah.
So he's not quite at a point per game, but he's pretty damn close. Jesus Christ, look at Victor Olofsson's numbers. 23 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
There's a
Tage Thompson.
there's a
Jeez,
crazy
oh, man.
stat where Casey Middlestat, if they only win like 3 out of 10 games where he doesn't play, and they're winning like 7 out of 10 where he does.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Buffalo is one of those teams that you got to watch. They might take a big swing at the trade deadline.
Look at what
They
competent management gives you.
They have
They have 18 million.
They have 18 million projected cap space
They could
for
take
the
all of
trade
Patrick
deadline.
Kane.
Or Eric Carlson.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine Eric Carlson added to their already fairly good young decor with
Dahlin and Power
Dahlin and Power?
and Middlestat.
Well, Middlestat's not a defenseman, but
Who am I thinking?
Samuelson. You're thinking
Yes,
of
I'm
Samuelson.
sorry. Samuelson.
But yeah, right now they have deadline cap. What the fuck is this? Deadline cap space $80 million. That can't be right. That's not correct. They have 18 million cap space right now.
Right.
The project. I never understand the deadline cap space. I know it's calculated out to whatever, but current cap space 56 million. Shut up, cap friendly. So they're a team that if they inch closer to that wild card spot, I could see them taking a big swing.
Well, look at the draft picks that they have. They have
They have 3 second round picks in this draft coming up this year. I doubt they're going to part with their first just in case they don't make the playoffs.
because this year is a very deep draft.
Yeah,
so.
unless they can like shore up, unless they can get something big with that first round pick.
Defense is their biggest problem. So like
Yeah. But if they could maybe they get Jake Chychrun. They maybe could pull it off.
they could get Chychrun, but again, defense is their biggest problem.
He plays okay defense.
Okay, defense,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
have great offensive
But
defensemen.
his contract is like pretty reasonable. It's like 4.6 million for the
that's
next
fair.
couple of years. So like you add that to this, and like theoretically in a couple of years the cap space is gonna balloon.
Yep.
You know.
And they get $6 million off after this year with Okposo probably retiring.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah. There he is right there. Probably retiring, if not going to free agency. He probably knows he's not going to be back.
Well, he could be back with a discount.
Another 2.2 for Zemgus Girgensons too. I
Right.
doubt they re-sign him. And then it's just RFAs except for Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
Old man Anderson. But like, yeah. They could make a move. They could make a big move.
I want to see them do well. I want to see them go on
I
a
would
run.
like to see them make the playoffs.
I want
it would be fun.
I want to see a team who's never win it if it's not
Of
mine.
course, of course.
So Buffalo's right there. For Detroit, Wallman and Raymond are both day-to-day with an upper body and lower body respectively. Raymond's injury comes from Shabbat running into him.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond's except for Thomas Shabbat, who's his own teammate.
Wait, what? No, he isn't.
Sherratt.
Oh, okay.
Sherratt.
Okay.
Sherratt. I said Shabbat.
Sherratt. You
Yeah.
said Shabbat. I was like,
I said Shabbat.
Shabbat's on Ottawa.
Yeah, I had to correct myself.
I gotcha. Okay. I cleared it up.
Thanks for the
they're
question.
very close names. They're very close names.
But Sherratt has not played well for.
Sherratt didn't even play that well for Florida when they traded him.
He's not
for
playing
him
well
last
for
year.
Detroit right now, and
Maybe Detroit could get a first round pick for him, like Montreal did last year.
oh man. All right.
It's so funny to look to just like 2020 vision, like look at old trades and be like, wow, that was a bad trade.
Can you go back to Cap Friendly see what Sherratt is on for Detroit? Because it's not a good contract.
Like how I just have to type a C into Google and
Yep.
it knows I want cap friendly.
Next up is Florida. Josh Mahura signed a 1-year deal for Florida for just under $1 million.
Okay.
They don't have any other injuries other than Horvat.
Horvat.
Nope.
Nope.
Jesus Christ. Patrick Hornquist. Frick.
No, not my boy Hornquist.
He's been gone for a while. He's had
My mother is devastated.
he's had a concussion.
He might retire.
Ben Sherratt. There he is.
$4.75 million until 26, 27.
It's not a good contract.
That's not a good contract at all.
No, and then you just
He's their top paid defenseman too.
just injured Lucas Raymond. Montreal, Arbor Xhekaj is day to day with an upper body. He left that Edmonton. Was it Edmonton?
God, I love that guy's name, Arbor Xhekaj. Xhekaj, whatever you say.
He injured himself in a fight against Edmonton. He could have hurt his hand. He could have dislocated his shoulder. There's a chance he dislocated his shoulder with that last punch in that fight. Which, he's too good. He's looking like he's one of those players who's too good to be fighting as much as he is. Think of like Tom Wilson at the start of his career.
Yeah.
He had like 10
the coach
fights.
has got to be like, you got to calm down.
Right.
You're better than having to fight all the time.
Yes. I understand wanting to be the guy to protect
Yeah.
your teammate all the time, but
Yeah.
it's just like we kind of need you actually playing.
Reel it in, bud.
Because I don't think fights aren't the big reason for those head injuries that
No.
happen.
No. They're not.
Blindside shots that like Cale Makar
Yep.
took from Jeff Carter.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that. Yeah, that happened.
Pittsburgh fans are upset that he hasn't been suspended.
I did see somebody tweet that they were like, suspended for the rest of the year. It's fine.
Please.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what's causing like
They were like suspended for the rest of the year and the playoffs.
concussions.
Yeah, those are what cause
Instead of
concussions,
fights,
not really fights.
But
yeah.
with fights, you still have problems with broken.
You can get a concussion from
You
a fight.
can,
yeah.
but the rates of
Less
those concussions, broken orbital bones, broken hands, like stuff like that, way more prevalent with fights.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Arbor don't do that as much. Jordan Harris,
And your last name is Xhekaj and it begins with an X.
it's great.
It's awesome.
We mentioned Jordan Harris signing an extension. We talked about Forsberg blowing both of his knees against Ottawa.
Poor bastard.
And then Sanderson is week to week with an upper body injury. He did score a goal earlier in that Ottawa in the game against Edmonton, but it's just the one. For Tampa Bay, Nick Paul is day to day with an upper body, and then Ian Cole was fined $5,000, which is the max for kneeing Andrew Cogliano of Colorado,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy because it was it
wasn't on purpose.
was completely like incidental. But there's been some
Spin the wheel of punishment.
but with Jeff Carter blowing up Cale Makar,
That was probably intentional.
I don't know if it's intentional.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's
it was hard to
intentional,
tell.
but it was
Yeah.
very reckless.
Yeah.
So it's
I don't know that he meant to hit him in his head, but he did. So
right. It's crazy how like
he meant to hit him.
Cole gets this.
A fine.
Fine
and
for the
Carter gets
knee.
nothing.
Yeah, he should have at least gotten fined.
There's something you can. Oh, go ahead.
Finally, for Toronto, I forgot his name, but first name Timmins.
Connor Timmins.
Thank you.
Yep.
I put the C.
Last name Timmins.
Yes. 2 years.
First
1.1
name Connor. Last name Timmins.
Yeah. 2 years. 1.1 million.
Donkey teeth.
I lost it. And that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen, in our always meandering episodes of Buzzed Pucks.
Ended strong.
Thanks, Floored Man. You guys can catch us wherever podcasts are found. Give us a like, review, subscribe, wherever applicable. Let all your peeps know about these Buzzed Pucks
Up in here.
up in here. And we'll see you next week for week 19 of the NHL season. And maybe Jake Chikrin will be traded by then. Who knows?
Maybe a couple of moves because we're
Maybe.
2 weeks out of the trade deadline.
Yeah, we're getting close. So some moves will happen theoretically.
Or
not.
nothing happens
Or not.
and everyone's mad.
Or not. But hey, we'll be here for it. So we'll see you guys next week at the same puck time.
Same puck place.
Bye-bye.
Bye.